Hi, everybody. This is Lee Gersman on the Hey, how you all doing? And I hope you're feeling good show with Charles Traynor. How you doing, Charles?
I am capital, as always. And on the Lee and How You're Doing show, I'm the How You Doing, okay?
Yeah.
I'm really... Just tell us what we're doing today on the show, folks.
We're doing a group called the Tangerine Zoo. It's their first album.
Their first, and how many did they have? I think 2, right?
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
No. I would say no. I would say that probably
No?
they probably should have stopped with 1, but they did 2.
Well, on the 2, I mean, maybe they got along on the first one, which we're doing today, right? Is self-titled. Tangerine Dream. Zoo. Tangerine Zoo. The one Tangerine Dream. That would make more sense.
Yeah, I mean musically.
Tangerine Zoo. Now, can I ask Lee, do you secretly know any of these people in the band? Like Quicksilver or something?
No. This is some that was like other people who were in other bands who were similarly named but not quite named. They aren't on this album.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be quite honest.
Or you don't need to be, but go on. You can be if you need to be.
I'm just going to be anyway, whether I need to be or not.
Yeah, whatever.
I typically...
don't like blah, 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 blah.
I didn't say that.
All right. Well, I don't particularly always like blah, 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 blah. But that doesn't mean... Go on. I'm going to get another thing of water. You can talk for a while.
Water.
All right.
Water.
And vodka.
Fans at home. Lee is feeling this way because this was sent to me as a response to the Who Tommy. Now, if you want to listen to Tommy in this group and compare these 2 records, go ahead.
Oh boy!
All you want.
There was no reason for it. That's why I did it.
It was a great complimentary deal here. So anywho, typically, I got cut off drinking water, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
When it's a band I'm not aware of, I'll look into what the fuck is up with this group. And I was a little busy today, so I couldn't get that deep in the weeds, because I'm just going to tell you, one of my go-tos, and I don't give a fuck, and I don't give a fuck who says I'm wrong, or this and that, is Wikipedia. And Wikipedia had nothing on this group other than a picture and some bullshit about nobody that you know about in this group, and links to the 2 albums that you couldn't click.
Right on, man. That's what I like to do.
So I had to go to All Music.
Oh, boy, you had to do the sneaky bit.
I had to. But it still didn't say that much. And then I gave it up. I said, well, whatever. I was listening to it. You beat me, Lee. You got me there.
I can give you a little tiny bit more if you want.
You got me there. I don't know why it bothers them so much. I'll look into people I don't know about. But it does. But there's not much on these guys. I don't know any of these dudes. They could have been from Timbuktu, from all I care about. I mean, it's the late 60s.
I can give you some info.
It's a psychedelic late 60s band, right, Lee?
I'll give you some info when you're done.
They're from San Francisco.
Really?
Or something like that. They're not from fucking goddamn Wyoming. I know that. Maybe one member was. Maybe the cowbell player.
I know where they were from.
But I didn't know nothing about these guys. And there's not a lot to find because they made this album and another album, and that's okay.
Yeah.
In a way. so I just had to review the music for what it was. I don't know who's in this band. Matter of fact, Lee could have been playing the organ.
I probably would have said no, thank you. But anyway,
Could have been James West on the drums.
I would have listened to that. Anyway, they're from Boston.
Yeah. Now, actually, that I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so you would probably test me to see when I said
Massachusetts, I believe. Yeah. But go ahead.
So San Francisco, Massachusetts. Anyway, the thing is, there was a guy named Alan Lorber who did some called the Bosstown Sound, and he had different people like there's one group called Beacon Street Union, another one Ultimate Spinach, another one Tiffany Shade, another one called I think it was either called The Grave Concern or The Brave Concern. I think it was Grave Concern. And there was Tangerine Zoo, and there was maybe.
I just found it, Lee. Before you go on.
Stop! Don't tell me that you just. Were you looking up Bosstown Sound?
Boston and Aerosmith as well.
I mean, but in other words, were you listening to me and looking it up?
No. I was listening to you, but I didn't look it up.
Well, thank you, because I don't like when people know too much. But anyway, and then there was maybe one other group. I'm trying, like the Freeborn or anyway, a few groups like Beacon Street Union and Tangerine Zoo, I think, decided not to have Alan Lorber produce them, even though they might have been on a compilation, The Bosstown Sound, which was just like a Alan Lorber trying to get people to buy the albums. But otherwise, the Tangerine Zoo wasn't like Chameleon Church with Chevy Chase, who was supposedly more a part of it, and a group called The Lost, which they kind of became the third version, or the version that did the third album for Ultimate Spinach. Tangerine Zoo, I guess, decided that they wanted to go their own way and do their own stuff and have their own sound and have their own producers. And because of that, they didn't necessarily make any kind of dent anywhere. And I just strictly picked this because I remember listening to the album before, and I was drunk, and I wasn't sure if I thought it was worth it. But I decided to try again, and regardless of whether I thought it was worth it, I did think that because we were doing Tommy, that would be a good idea to do this too. Okay.
Oh yeah. It's so like Tommy.
it's only because
I mean, absolutely. Like
no.
I don't want to give up too much, but I'm like, yes. This is one of those albums that shaped rock and roll history.
Like Play-Doh.
People were talking about for like years and years and years. They're like, these guys right here.
But I have to actually say that I enjoy it better than Tommy.
I mean, that's what I was saying. I mean, like Boston. Nobody thinks of that band. The band that was named after the actual city.
Yeah.
Or Aerosmith. Who was better than them? Or maybe a tie. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the problem with Boston is they took too fucking long between records. But
yeah.
Aerosmith, I mean, they're nothing. They're trash. We're talking about the Tangerine Zoo.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's very complimentary to the Who by far.
Oh, you're talking to someone who found this because I was drunk out of my mind, and I am drunk again. I'm whatever. Okay, go on.
You know what would have been more complimentary to this?
What?
Extreme Pornography. That's a Boston band.
That's actually true.
I know, because I'm not a simpleton. But
yeah, you're a complexiton.
I like that. That's a great term. Complexiton. Put a hashtag by that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I got the Tangerine Zoo for you. Great folks at home.
Oh boy. I'm nervous.
Because of the Who. Tommy. Okay, take Tommy out of the equation. The Who. Maybe the third or fourth greatest rock band of all time. Who's still doing their thing?
Unfortunately.
I haven't seen Tangerine Zoo show going anywhere else.
Well,
however,
you might be able to find one under the scrapings of a shoe.
Exactly. However, I will preface this with saying, is this the worst I've ever heard? No.
Okay, thank you everybody for listening to the review. Bye-bye.
And then two, it wouldn't matter if it was complete turds. I'll do it anyway. So let's go.
Oh, bully for you. I guess I'll start unless you want to. I don't care.
No, you start. It's your show.
Okay. The first song, Gloria. Okay. This is entertaining. Of course, to open with a cover tune might have some people wonder if the original material is not as strong. And especially if the cover tune is something a number of other groups have done. It can also cause setbacks for whichever other band does the tune. But they sound like they're having fun. And they do employ enough of their original sound to make it okay. I'll give it my approval overall. What do you have to say?
Gloria. It's an oldie but goodie. I hear at this point for me, I heard it. It has to be one of the most covered songs ever. I really believe that. For the most part, I put this on par with the Doors version, believe it or not.
And I've heard that.
But personally, I do still prefer Patti Smith's version over this. But
who wouldn't?
But it's possible. It's okay. It's a pretty rocking way to start the album. You know, it's 3-chord rock and roll. Easy. I play that while I'm farting in my sleep, but it's very easy. And I do like the song, so they did a good cover of it. So there you go.
Right on. And I'm sorry I hopped over some of you said,
best, right?
but that's only because of the alcohol making me cough.
Do you like the Them's version?
Yes, very much.
Which one is the best? The Them's, this, or Patti Smith, or the Doors?
I would say I really like this version, but all of the others you mentioned are better. But anyway,
there you go.
But no, only a little bit better. Anyway,
so it's better. Okay.
Well, no, but no, not. Never. You catch me in truth serum.
By the way, folks, just like Tommy, Patti Smith's Horses coming soon, maybe in the next year. Go ahead, Lee.
Maybe in the next 5 minutes, but not technically, but you know.
What a great album. Preface.
Do you know it?
Yes, of course I do.
You know, regardless of whatever you say about the rest of the album, I'm going to give you mental hugs.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You already knew that. You don't have to tell the people. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're wonderful. Anyway.
You're more wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, Trip to the Zoo. No, you start. What do you
Okay.
think?
Trip to the Zoo, written by Cleaver McSchneever. I don't know who's in this group. I don't know.
Oh, that sounds good enough.
Probably Jake Gertzman, the older brother or something.
Yeah, I like that jig. I can use
Jake
that.
Gertzman. Yeah. The bass line here is absolutely relentless. And the bassist, he does keep it from becoming monotonous because it's like kind of like the same thing over and over again, but he does it so well. And this could have easily, been really shitty. And unfortunately, I will say, and we're going to hit this a few more times. Believe me, sir. You need to talk to Chester and Eddie Gersman over there on the production, because the audio mix isn't too good here.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. And I'm just going to guess it's due to its obscurity, as the mix should be fixed, because it brings a good jam here down a few pegs. And if it was on purpose, then shame on the producer. But I got a feeling we're going to hit this subject again. But go ahead, Lee.
You know what? I absolutely agree with you. And even though we did not do the second album, I will say this is the better of the other engineering-wise. But anyway, about this song, Trip to the Zoo, this isn't bad and it jams a bit, but overall, it sounds like a repetitive riff that was only saved by the guitar soloing. Still, I've heard worse, and I do generally like it.
And this reminds me of Sparks. Line.
Huh.
Okay, next song.
That's weird. But anyway.
But I know how much you love Sparks.
I'm not saying I do. Anyway, now for
Maybe
please.
I don't know.
Yeah. Please don't set me free. Okay. This is a filler tune. Not without some interesting moments, but filler nonetheless. I won't say I'd skip it if I'm listening to the album, but unless I'm concentrating intently on the song, I'd probably forget it. What do you think?
See, okay, the previous song, I was like, maybe it's just because only Lee and one other guy, probably Quicksilver guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, by the way.
You can call him by that.
Yeah. Oh, I will. And we love you. But I was like, what is this shit? And I was really, the previous song, the production was so bad. And really Lee nailed it with the engineering. And I was hoping we didn't get that here, but we did. Again.
And you still will later.
And I really haven't a clue what was being gone for with the mix on this. It's a mediocre ballad, and it's like the production is like very clipped. Like you get like, you have to listen to it. It's horrible. I thought it was just like somebody that it was a crappy album from back in the day that nobody touched up. No, and that's Polish.
I hear you.
No, this was horrible. Next song, please.
Okay, what do you think of Nature's Children?
Well, the production isn't as jarring like the previous one. Very psychedelic, almost to the point of stereotypically psychedelic. I really enjoy the drums here. Better song by far than our previous one. And even though the production is still a little bit iffy, it doesn't ruin it. Probably one of the better ones I've heard to this point on the album.
Right on. This song is really good. I like the riff and the attitude and the way they play. So far, it's the best song on the album. And for those of you who wonder why I'm pausing every other word, it's because I'm trying to swallow to keep burps out. It's not because I can't speak. Anyway, what do you think?
And And the lovely thing, if I get to hear all those burps, and hey, Anani, there you go. I already said what I thought about it.
Oh,
Let's get to the
I'm
next
so,
song,
I'm
The
so,
Flight.
okay, then all right. The Flight.
The Flight.
Okay. Another of the best songs on the album. The vocals are a bit wimpy, but that's a very minor flaw because they aren't on long. And the rest of the song is so strong, it's just simply fantastic. What do you think?
I almost thought it was The Offspring at first.
Huh. I hear you.
But, and I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. I
Hmm.
mean, I like The Offspring to a point, but they hit a point where it was shit. But it was really in the drum opening to the track. And that's fair. Probably even more psychedelic than Nature's Children. I don't think it's quite as enjoyable as Nature's Children, but I do like it. Pretty good energy. And this one, the organist, who must be like Lee Gerstmann's cousin or something, is really, really good. Very energetic. And he was the highlight of the track. It's okay. I kind of like this one.
Right on. What do you think of Mommy and Daddy?
We get a short. This is what you thought of Tommy, right? Like,
No.
To be honest.
No.
You get like,
No.
no.
It just happened that way.
Get this little segue track here. And you get falsetto singing. Not really. Nothing I need to hear it again. Then it's really bad production again. Like the earlier ones that I hated. Skipper, fuck this song.
I started to say something and then I seemed like I said something else before I finished. Anyway, I put an interesting snippet of a song. It sounds like it was a rough sketch the band didn't know how to develop, so they put it in as is. Nothing wrong with that, but it certainly can't be considered for better song on the album. But I've heard worse things than this, so I don't mind. And I don't mean worse things like this on the sound, but worse things in my life.
Yeah, even your worst song on Tommy, Blues This Way.
Even the worst song on Tommy is about not worse.
About worse?
No, I said song. About not worse.
Yeah, Symphonic Psycho. Psyche.
Yeah.
Symphonic Psyche? Psycho? Now.
I'll tell you. What do you think of Symphonic Psych?
Psych? Oh,
yes,
psych.
The E is a French thing. If it has the accent, then it's psyche. Otherwise, it's psych.
I am so happy to have some French blood. I can't speak that goddamn pagan language.
At least now you know that the accent makes the difference.
Yeah. At this point, I really don't understand why anyone would produce an album this way or engineer it this way. I don't know if they're trying to be clever or too clever for their own good, or they just don't know how to produce a record. It's distracting because, folks, listen to this album. It would be like if I said, and you good. I mean, it's so clipped.
Weird.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing. It sucks. Go ahead, Lee.
This is another of the best songs on the album. It does sound both psychedelic and symphonic, which is not an easy thing for a band like this to do, but they got it down pat. I love it. By the way, I didn't listen to it on Spotify. I put a download of the vinyl version, which is not better.
No, it can't be.
But at least it wasn't.
I mean, if this is like platinum gold, and you're rich for the rest of your life, and you have the life at your feet, it would still suck. Okay, next song.
But if someone gave you $100,000 to just say, I like it.
No. I'll tell you this much.
Or if they said, you can also say, I was told to say I like it for $100,000, even though I think it's shit. Would you do that?
No. This is so bad that the Quicksilver guy, again, I tell the truth.
Dino?
And I think you rule because you give Lee some feedback. This is terrible. I mean, the Quicksilver song, the worst song, and I don't remember him at this point.
But you mean Dino, Chet, Simon, Fumby, whatever?
Dino Palladino was.
Well, I mean,
hit and miss.
But better than this.
By far. I think Dino Palladino, giving you a Dutch oven in the middle of the night, way better than this song. But the reason why this song is so bad is not because of the song, it's because of the production and the engineering.
Why don't you, I think it's my turn, but why don't you do it? Chrysalis in Heaven.
I thought it was Psyche.
We already did that. That's what we're talking about.
Because I got Crystalline Psyche.
No, it's Crystalline, it's Symphonic Psyche and Chrysalis in Heaven.
Yeah. I got you. Okay, whatever.
No, it's okay. You can mix and match whatever Meow Meow makes you. Go on.
Yeah, it's easy to confuse these turd burglars with anything. Well, for whatever reason, the producer decided to take it easy here. And it's a pretty straightforward song. And it's also a cool title. Even though I don't remember what it is. I do know Crystalline.
Chrysalis in Heaven.
Yeah. But unfortunately, the guitars sound out of tune. And this song is aboard the points of tears. Maybe his producer should have done his worst here, like put that clip shit, that horse shit. Maybe it would have made it more interesting. But the production was fine, but the song sucked. Go ahead, Lee.
I put not a completely bad song. I like what it's trying to do, but the operative word is trying. Usually, mellow psychedelic songs can either be great or mediocre. This is mediocre, but the subject matter is still interesting enough where I'd be willing to hear it again. Okay, now the last song. One More Heartache.
The title is cool, though.
Yeah.
Go back to that.
Now for One More Heartache. Okay. Aside from the keyboard solo, which I liked, this is like a sped up and very amateur version of a Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons tune, but done way less professionally and less interesting. I would skip this. Thanks, no thanks. What do you think?
Well, you're telling me this to last, and I got like 4 or 5 more songs, by the way.
Yeah, well then the others I'm not doing them because they're not on the original album.
Fuck yes. We go out about a quarter way decent, right? One More Heartache?
Yeah, that's the last song on the album. The original album.
This was damn near a gospel song in its structure, but man, this dude cannot pull it off, the lead singer, whoever he is. It's not his style. And he really fucking sucks. But the song would have been alright, maybe if somebody, like a Mick Jagger, like somebody could sing.
Huh.
Or Liam Gallagher.
Yeah.
Or Axl Rose. Or
whoa, forget Axl. Liam Gallagher.
Okay, or Marvin Gaye.
Maybe.
Sam Cooke. But not this group. Because he sucked. It ruined it. But the gospel-y shit, it was a nice try. And I don't know why I said I thought there was more songs than this. There wasn't. Thank God. Do not listen to that. Quicksilver Messenger Service is Led Zeppelin compared to these guys. They're not as bad as some of the shit I've done before, but it sucked. It has nothing to do with Tommy. And it has nothing to do. I think a lot of it was because the producer sucked and his engineer sucked, and he probably was doing LSD. And that's why they did 2 albums, and it was terrible. I don't want to listen to the second one. They might have been good songs, but literally the production, engineering, fucking blew
Yeah.
on this record. And that's a shame.
Yeah,
That's a
and
shame.
I guess the reason why I picked it too was because I thought, since I'm not a big fan of Tommy, I thought I'd pick another album I'm not a big fan of. But I still listened to it because I thought, for better or worse, at least someone should review it, because absolutely no one other than us would. So that's why I did it.
Of course. Well, I mean, what was these guys' names again? That's a quick, I can't remember.
Tangerine Dream. No, Tangerine Zoo.
Tangerine. Jeez. Yeah, it was Tangerine Zoo. So for the folks, the one nailed me, P2.
There is a group that's actually very good called The Zoo, which has an album called Chocolate Mousse, which has members who would later be in Heart. In Heart.
Wait a minute. Let me hit Google real quick. The Google machine.
You gonna look up Chocolate Mousse Zoo?
No, I'm not gonna look up them.
You could. You'll see Howard Leese.
I'm gonna look up this.
You won't probably find anything.
I did not find Tangerine Machine. I thought that was a record.
No. Did I say that by accident?
You did not. And I just came up with a great album name.
Tangerine Zoo.
Dream. No, fuck Tangerine Zoo. This album sucked.
No.
There is nothing in comparison
Tangerine
to the
Dream
by the Who.
Dream.
Nothing. This is Tangerine Zoo. This has nothing on the Who, Tommy. Matter of fact, most of the shit don't have shit on Quicksilver. They're Quicksilver, love it.
I prefer this album over Tommy.
Really?
Yeah.
You like horrible productions? Okay.
No, but I don't like the songs off Tommy.
I would rather listen to Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Me too.
Than this. Or the Monkees.
Me too.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was a fun kind of counterpoint, but this sucked. It wasn't as good as Quicksilver Messenger Service.
Yeah.
Mr. Quicksilver. Even though they're hitting this too. But every band's hitting this, except the Beatles. Except them. Man, it sucks to not like the Beatles, right, Lee?
No, they were my first favorite group. I was one.
Albums. There is no such thing as an unperfect album. Even the worst album, which is Let It Be, is better than this.
I'd agree there.
By far. And that Let It Be is not even really the worst album. That'd be the Yellow Submarine soundtrack. And
I don't even agree with that.
I wouldn't agree conventionally because you have Hey Bulldog, which is one of the greatest Beatles songs.
It's because I like George Martin's orchestral work.
I don't.
I do.
I don't like it.
I do. I heard it on a big system. I saw Jack Bruce live, and they had a huge system, and they played the Yellow Submarine soundtrack stuff, and it was fantastic.
It's not like I don't like it.
But I heard Jack Bruce live. You know who he is? He was from
played
Cream
cowbell
with Eric
cowbell.
Clapton and Ginger Baker. He
Oh,
wrote
I
the
thought
song White Room, and he wrote Politician. Do you know
I thought
him
he-
now?
I thought he played cowbell for CCR. Yes,
Yeah.
I know who Jack Bruce is. Of
Yeah,
course.
well,
The point is,
the point is what I said.
what about the song All Together Now? Do you love
Oh, God, no.
that? Okay.
I hate
What about,
that.
I love it. What about It's All Too Much?
I like that.
Love it. But then when you go into those last four songs, I like those songs, but I just watch the movie. That's why I put an asterisk. Yes, Yellow Submarine is my least favorite Beatles album. But I mean, Hey Bulldog might be better than any of the songs they put on any of the other albums. Just one song.
No, but the
album.
cover tune that Fanny did was really good.
But it doesn't make the album that great. You know, I mean, one song, no. Because it's Beatles.
No, in fact, that song could be taken off of it and it would be a better album.
You're out of your fucking mind. What song
No, just shut up.
No, I'm not going to shut up.
Okay,
What song
don't.
would you replace Hey Bulldog on Yellow Submarine and make it better?
How about Mother Nature's Son?
That song blows anyway. It's not even that
Oh,
bad.
it's a good song.
It's not as good as Blackbird?
No, that's not good. No, actually, I think
What?
George Benson might have done a good version of it on guitar.
The on Broadway guy? Oh, now come on.
Dude, have you ever heard his really, really good early jazz? He did a whole album of Beatles covers.
I don't listen to that because I hate on Broadway. That one.
Well, I don't like it either. But he did good. He did some. Well, Booker T and the MGs. They did the album, the other side of Abbey Road. But George Benson did an album to Beatles covers, and I forget what it's called.
It was called Nobody Cares.
Okay.
By George Benson.
Well,
because they just put it on Broadway, and then you turn the channel when that comes on. But I hate that fucking song, man.
I don't like that either. But his original stuff, he was one of the best jazz guitarists of all time.
But I mean, Django Reinhardt sucked balls.
He
was terrible.
I'm
right.
How about would you be into listening to an album by George Benson from around the late '60s on Columbia Records?
Sure.
Or White Rabbit?
If you'd be cool with listening to a great album by a great artist named Django Reinhardt, probably one of the greatest.
I heard some of his stuff. I would do that.
Yeah, slash folk, because he missed some fingers, right?
Yeah.
He played everything on a classical guitar. So he's a pimp. But George Benson, Jesus Christ.
Do you? He had an album called "It's Uptown." Listen to "It's Uptown" by George Benson. Yeah, you know he. I have to tell you something. I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
First, there was Charlie Christian. He was with the Benny Goodman, Goodman Orchestra, and he's very good. And it's hard to get his stuff without Benny, but you can find it. And then there was Wes Montgomery, and Wes Montgomery was like, if you want to say he was like the junior of Charlie Christian, you could say that. And then there was George Benson, who was like the junior of West Montgomery, but he was no, not the lamer. He in fact was the best, but
he was the best.
but what happened was he worked with Brother Jack McDuff, which I have to hear his stuff there, but he did like really great bebop instrumental stuff, and then his producer asked him to do an album where he sang as well as did guitar, and then when he did that, it got millions of dollars, and then he went, you know what? I want to go this route. So he is probably the ultimate sellout.
Millions of dollars.
But his original stuff, if you hear his early stuff, it is the major difference.
It's the shit, right?
It's
what was his name again?
George Benson.
George Benson.
Listen to the album. It's Uptown.
I might.
Please. It's not like on Broadway. It's like Pat Martino. Would you rather do Pat Martino's album Desperado?
I would rather do Ray Bradley, spoken word. His
God,
his novels over that.
Ray Bradbury. Oh fuck!
But before you cut me off, I was like, okay,
shit.
John Lennon in the 70s, with Les Paul Jr. with a Charlie Christian pickup. Not a George Benson pickup.
But that's only a pickup.
Because Charlie fucking amazing. Way better than George Benson.
Oh, God.
Come on, Charlie Christian is way better than George Benson. That's the way it is. They didn't name a pickup after that guy.
If
this is a fucking tool.
How about if next time we do reviews,
I do the Gap Band before that guy.
We do Charlie Christian's Dinner at Mittens versus George Benson's one of the albums that I pick.
Honest God Truth. Yes, of course. And Honest God Truth, dude. The only thing I know of George Benson.
You only know the shit stuff.
I only know one Broadway, and I was like, I don't need no more of this.
And that's not the good stuff.
You.
That's not the good stuff.
That's fair.
That's like Van Halen, and the only thing you heard is Happy Trails. I'm not saying it's bad,
that's a good one,
but what I mean is it's not typical.
Well, I mean, if Hagar's on it, it's horrible. I don't care what they do.
I agree with you there, but what I mean is...
There you go. So like, Hey Jude compared to...
on Broadway is like, even though I think Gary Sharon's a good vocalist, on Broadway, I think... I'm not necessarily saying anything about the music, I'm just saying vocally. But even though I say that, On Broadway by George Benson is like Gary Sharon's grandson compared to David Lee Roth and It's Uptown by George Benson. But we can also do... How do you feel about albums on the CTI label? Creed Taylor Incorporated. Those albums are generally considered to be kind of fusion albums, and Creed Taylor, even though some people didn't know his ethnicity, he was actually a white guy. He wasn't black. He wasn't black. He was a white guy from like the South, and people didn't know that. But
like St. Phillips.
Yeah. So he was Mr. Creed Taylor did CTI Records, and How about instead I just pick some of the best CTI albums and then we...
You can. What's the biggest artist on CTI label? Exactly.
I can't... okay.
Exactly.
Fuck it.
Look.
Well, George Benson became...
Hey, I promise you this much. We can do the second album, These Tools, because that's it. I don't know any of these guys' names. They could have been fucking your cousin. I don't know. I'm sorry, your cousin. I don't know who's in the group.
Yeah.
They sucked.
Are you preferring to do that other than George Benson?
No, I do George Benson, but the point is, there's better shit than George Benson out there. But
no,
there's not.
No, he's the greatest jazz guitarist around.
Django Reinhardt, he sucked ass.
You need next time we do he
was horrible.
No, he's good, but I will pick the album, and
I'll pick a Django one.
You can do that. So George,
tell me that George
and Django
Reinhardt.
George and Django. I can pick both, and I can do both. But if you want to pick one by Django, you can.
Django missing some fingers.
Yeah.
Playing with his fingers. And George Benson, who all we know is ba-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-bum,
you are like
ba-da-bum,
you don't even know what I'm talking about.
I don't, and that's fair because I represent.
And that's why I both like and don't like doing reviews with you, because I like you, but I don't like the fact that you don't know what I know.
Well, you didn't know what I know either, because
but that's irrelevant.
But
it's irrelevant the fact that you know so much more than I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's all relevant. You say I don't.
It's irrelevant.
But meanwhile, folks, fucking Lee's donated to Lee. He's donated to the Liam Gallagher fan club quite a bit.
Whatever.
He knows what good music is because
I do.
I've turned him on to that.
Yeah, you have.
No, not really. That's the way it is. In the end.
Yeah, whatever.
You're more
okay. Thank you, everybody.
Don't say bye-bye. You say whatever. You're more of a jazzy dude. I'm more of a rock guy.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I would do George Benson if he did a Barney album. I don't care about that. I'll do that, and I'll make fun of it.
You won't make fun of the album that I pick.
I might not. If you pick the right one. You know, like motherfucking Coliseum 2. You find some good shit when you want to.
How about we can pick two Django albums, and then when you pick one, I pick one, and then when we do George Benson, I'll also pick Pat Martino. Is that cool?
Sure. As long as I get, we have to do one time Mahogany Rush.
Okay.
That's some good shit.
Okay, then how
you
about...
You have to agree with me. Frank Marino is the shit, man.
I have some stuff to say about when I first heard him when I was young.
Alright. But either way...
Not necessarily favorable, but go on.
This album sucked that we did today. Tommy, even if you cherry pick about a half of it, is better than this shit.
Oh,
and
maybe not.
Never heard about these guys again, and for probably good reason.
No.
It was because the producer, I don't know what he was doing.
No, that's true. The producer probably put his butt on the speaker.
Yeah, if you want to hear bad production, And you're like, well, I don't know why these guys keep saying bad production and engineering. Listen to this. And that's sad because they might have had something.
Yeah.
Nope. And meanwhile, Badfinger, who I turned on late too,
Yeah, whatever.
was doing better shit. And
I don't know.
Whole bunch of groups.
Yeah.
At the time.
What the fuck?
And he turned me on to Quicksilver, which is like 3/4 better, Quicksilver guy.
A little bit. Oh. How about how about this?
These fucking tools.
If you're cool,
So yeah, folks, check
if
out.
if you're cool with two, if you're cool with 2 albums, that I pick Dino Valente versus George Benson.
My headphones done. This is crazy.
Okay, if you're cool with doing,
I'm cool. I can't hear shit. Go ahead.
If you're cool with doing 2 albums of my pick versus 2 of your pick, and you can pick whatever you want, it will be Dino Valente versus George Benson, and then you can pick 2 of what you want. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Okay.
Anyway, folks, it was fun to be back.
All right.
Lee, thanks for having me back.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.